President-elect William Ruto depicts a picture of a man keen on upsetting the status quo. His story tracing back to a humble background in Kamagut in Uasin Gishu, and not complete without mentioning a chicken seller. Ruto's first stab on elective politics was in 1997 when he toppled powerful politician Reuben Chesire, who had been endorsed by the late President Daniel Arap Moi at the age of 30. And on the 13th, Ruto becomes the first presidential candidate in Kenya to win the presidency on his first stab, and indeed the first vice president to succeed his boss. Jaob Kioria brings you the rise and rise of Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya.
From growing up in a humble background in Kamagut village in Uasin Gishu, where he sold chicken along the railway line so as to take himself through school, William Ruto can be described as a perfect example of the rise from grass to grace. From his formative years in school at the Kerotet Primary School, then to Wareng Secondary School and Kapsabet Boys High School, young William Ruto appeared to be a man on a mission, cutting a niche for himself and proving to all and sundry the existence of infinite possibilities. Ruto would later join the Nairobi University for a Bachelor of Science in Botany and Zoology in 1990, a master's degree later, and finally graduating with a doctorate degree in 2018 from the same institution. But it is his political life that is more intriguing, detailing a pattern of a man who was keen on upsetting the status quo and with clinical precision. Ruto joined active politics in 1992 when the second President Daniel Arap Moi was seeking re-election and sought the support of youth groups, particularly drawn from local universities. Ruto worked under veteran politician Cyrus Jirongo, and both are said to have been very influential within Independence Party KANU ranks. It is instructive to note that of all the members of the YK92 disbanded by Moi after the elections, only William Ruto's star has kept shining. Despite being introduced to politics by President Moi and amassing a fortune while at it, Ruto went against Moi when he ran against the president's favorite man in Eldoret North in the 1997 general elections. Despite being prevailed upon by Moi to step down for Reuben Chesire, the then Uasin Gishu KANU chairman and assistant minister, Ruto defied Moi and the KANU machinery to beat Chesire. Ruto would later be appointed Assistant Minister for Home Affairs by President Moi. In the turbulent days of KANU, when Uhuru Kenyatta was endorsed by Moi to succeed him in the 2002 general election, a move that witnessed the defection of senior members of the party, Ruto remained in KANU and was made the substantive Minister for Home Affairs in the sunset days of the Moi regime. Ruto would be a key cog in the Uhuru Kenyatta campaigns, who was running alongside the then Vice President Musalia Mudavadi as his running mate. After the KANU defeat in the 2002 general elections in the hands of President Mwai Kibaki, Ruto played from the opposition benches as Eldoret North MP, assisting the then official opposition leader Uhuru Kenyatta. But in 2005, a bigger opportunity presented itself when the opposition teamed up with rebel minister within the Kibaki administration, opposed to the Bomas draft being subjected to the referendum. They formed the Orange Movement that roped in Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Uhuru Kenyatta, Musalia Mudavadi, Najib Balala and others, and went round the country campaigning against the draft constitution, handing Kibaki a resounding loss. In the run-up to the 2007 elections, Uhuru Kenyatta abandoned ODM to support President Kibaki's re-election bid, leaving behind his ally William Ruto. Ruto would challenge Raila Odinga for the ODM presidential ticket, but Raila trounced him and made both Ruto and Mudavadi the deputy party leaders. During the 2007 disputed election, Ruto would be key in negotiating the national accord on behalf of Raila Odinga in the Kofi Annan mediation team that had membership from ODM and Kibaki's PNU. After the Kibaki-Raila truce, Ruto was awarded with a powerful agriculture docket by Raila Odinga. 2 years later, Ruto would be indicted by the International Criminal Court alongside Uhuru Kenyatta and 4 others as persons bearing the biggest responsibility for the war crimes committed in the 2007 post-election violence. When Raila supported the ICC process, Ruto interpreted it as betrayal and started defying Raila.
I have not received any communication from the appointing authority as Minister for Agriculture, and therefore I will continue to discharge the responsibilities of the Minister for Agriculture until that authority tells me I should do otherwise.
That, coupled up with evictions in Mau Forest, spearheaded by Raila, and which Ruto deemed as inhumane and targeting certain communities in Rift Valley, was the making of the Ruto-Raila breakup. Before his exit from cabinet, Ruto had teamed up with fellow indictee Uhuru Kenyatta, running a Kibaki succession campaign and accusing the ICC of perpetuating imperialism.
Na ndio mwaka wa 2013 mwezi wa March tukiweza kuunda serikali tutaunda kwa sababu ya kura ambazo mtakuwa mmechukua.
In April 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto beat Raila Odinga, the outgoing prime minister. A renowned mobilizer with deep pockets and a gift of the gab, Ruto was instrumental in the re-election of President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2017, beating Raila Odinga once more.
Wanamwambia bwana kitendawili, Uhuru Kenyatta ndio rais na mimi ndio deputy president. Watoto wa Kenya watafanya mtihani, my friend.
Trouble would foment after President Kenyatta closed ranks with his bitter rival Raila Odinga in the famous handshake. Ruto started to feel isolated from government, leading to full-blown proxy war between him and his boss from 2019. Though he did not attack his boss directly, his allies went for the president's jugular, accusing the head of state of betraying a bosom friend. Ruto would single-handedly oppose the Building Bridges initiative, a byproduct of a handshake that sought to amend sections of a 2010 constitution. Though it was the judiciary that finally sounded the death knell on BBI, Ruto's opposition was the stroke that broke the camel's back. President Uhuru Kenyatta declared that he would support Raila Odinga in the 2022 general election, deploying resources and efforts towards Raila's fifth stab on the presidency. Ruto, on the other hand, priding himself as a chief hustler, dismissed the endorsement of Raila by President Kenyatta, engaging in rigorous campaigns that cast him as the underdog under siege from government machinery. On the 9th of August, Kenya went to the polls, and after 6 days, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission announced Ruto as the eventual winner after garnering 50.49% of the votes cast. Raila and his running mate Martha Karua moved to the Supreme Court to challenge the outcome, supported by other 7 petitioners. On the 5th of September, the Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, upheld William Ruto's win, clearing the last hurdle in his bid to become Kenya's 5th president. Jaob Kioria, Channel 1.